Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Dunn, and I'm calling from Jupiter, Florida, in the United States of America. And I've got one of my and when I say this, people say they have the oldest friend. This is my oldest friend. This is the guy I met the first day of kindergarten when I checked into Toluca Lake Elementary School in Los Angeles, California. Um, David Lewis. David Lewis and I have been friends for over 50 years. And yeah, it is funny to think about over 50 years. And it is truly amazing. And it's an honor to have David in front of me. And he's a true example of how this thing works. And he's got a unique and interesting story. And David and I, our friendship shifted gears. How many years ago? Well, I'll let you tell the story, but our story goes in stages. We knew each other in school, after school, our using years together, how we knew each other, and then basically so. But this is John from the Recovery Broadcast Channel, RBC, and our job is basically here to give unique and interesting people you can look at and learn from, baby. David, I'm going to give it to you. I want to hear your story. Say hello to everybody out there.
I can't start the way I want to because I've always wanted to say it in a meeting and I can't. Good joke. Anyways, my name's Dave Lewis. My sobriety date is Monday, May 9th, 2011. And with the grace of God, I haven't had a drink since that day. And I'm also blessed to say that it's my first time in AA. But let me regress a little bit and tell you a little bit about what's behind this 60-year-old alcoholic you're looking at that's glad to be in recovery. Started out, God, great life. I mean, John and I, the neighborhood, Toluca Lake, it was kind of like Los Angeles, Mayberry RFD. I mean, I walked to school just about from, I don't know, kindergarten, but John lived 2 houses away from school and we were in the same grade. And first day of kindergarten we met, and we became friends and it's interesting because we go through stages of not seeing each other for years, but we've always kept in contact, even when he was sober. Because John got sober, we got to realize we've known each other for 55 years, you guys. And, John used to be the guy in LA, Mr. LA. I mean, he called me up at 11 o'clock at night and let's go partying. And he'd take me to places you couldn't go because you'd have to know how to get there. And you go up the back door and stairs up Sunset Boulevard. People are doing things we can't talk about on tables. And it was just wild. It was fun. It was exciting. It was the 80s and I lived through it. And I'm lucky. God always looks after drunks and sailors. And, I used to be both. And anyways, so go through grammar school, John and I had a lot of fun, John's traumatic experience getting lost at the circus when he was like 6 really took its toll on him. He's still working on that.
I had a feeling you're going to bring that up, David. I cried like a baby.
And Johnny's no small guy. I mean, I swear to God, I think he was like 5'5" in kindergarten. And so anyway, elementary school, gosh, it was, great. And then junior high school, I started smoking some pot and drinking. And regress, I'm really fortunate to come from a family that enjoys, they're boating enthusiasts. And then I got a little deeper than that, really enthusiastic about it. And so I've been boating my whole life, and boating and booze go hand in hand. So anyway, I remember when I was 13, we joined a yacht club. And it was an Easter egg thing, John, over at Catalina, right above Emerald Cove. So, there's nothing there. It's just the mornings. And so this is our first year on the club, and I'm like 13, Don's 15. We find the treasure chest, and it's full with all this, something like you would have traded to the Indians if they had plastic back in the early 1600s, And so along with all this stuff was 2 bottles of 151 rum.
Wow. Yes.
And our parents let us keep it. And I thought, wow, this is kind of cool. And, you're so young, you don't think about it. And, people are always drinking. But, it's interesting because my father's friends and family, too, they were all what I'll consider successful business people self-employed, owned businesses, worked hard. They were all highly functional drunks that I can look back and say, and I'm really glad that I'm not continuing that mode. But so my perception of an alcoholic was, the hobo sitting on the train. Remember the train that used to go by Magnolia Boulevard at night, right by Coinca?
Of course, I was right by Sanford and Sons, where they used to film that.
Yeah. That was Joe's Junk Shop.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so then parties in junior high school and high school, and surf trips because I like to surf, and that was a great way to get away.
I got to interrupt. On our graduation, we're sitting in the stands, and this is a memory I will never forget. David Lewis was behind Chris Wilson and myself, and he had a one-hitter. What was that thing, buddy?
It was an early model vaporizer. It was 2 AA batteries, a glass cylinder with a spring, and a mouth straw as a mouthpiece, and had a button. I had it hanging around my neck, and I was taking hits right there in our graduation in '77. I think John and I were the only ones that have Ray-Bans on. Anyways, so getting arrested and stuff like that isn't really part of my story. I did get arrested once, and I was so close to my house, John. I was right there. There goes one of the guys driving by off work. Anyways, I was driving home from your party. I was driving home from your ice rink party off Santa Monica Boulevard and whatever, remember?
Flippers.
Yeah, me and Dave McGlock. And we get over the hill, and I had that little dump on Lincolnshire just past the freeway intersection there at Cami. And I saw a cop when we're going down Vineland, and I go, shoot, there's a cop. He's going, hop on the freeway, go to your mom's. I go, no. I go, I'll make a right, then I make a right, then a left, and now I'm on Lincolnshire, but they're going the same way, And the cop's behind me, and I'm waiting for the signal, and I go, well, maybe he's just going to the station, And I pull over right in front of the gas station. It's on my very block that I live on. And the guy comes over with a big red face and goes, don't even ask what you did wrong. It's embarrassing, but I didn't pass the test too well.
No.
The liquor store owner comes out and goes, hi, Dave, how you doing? I'm like, well, that doesn't sound really too good right now. But I told him I was doing well. And anyway, so I was holding, by the time I got arrested, booked, released, and back home was all within an hour. And I had that released for reckless because I had another alcoholic attorney that, anyways, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, then I started using people because I didn't want to get under DUI. And so I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how controlling I was back then. I knew that if I could get a friend to drive, I wasn't going to get a drunk driving. So I kind of built that into my repertoire. Not that I didn't do my fair share of drunk driving, like the time coming home from Mark Gordon's Halloween party downtown.
What happened then? I remember the party. I was there.
I got home, and I don't know if I drove the freeway or side streets, and Danny O'Kane's mom called me up the next day. You left my baby downtown. Left Oak Man there. But anyways, so then, working, going to school, surfing a lot, drinking, smoked a lot of weed, chasing women with no regard to any morals that were probably bestowed upon me, but I had no. It was different than I thought. I thought it was catch and release. It was the 80s. You go out, and you meet a woman, and you have some fun, and then, maybe you'd run into her again, or maybe you wouldn't. But that stuff I'm not proud of anymore. It's embarrassing to myself, even though we all did it. That doesn't have any justification for my behavior. So, anyways, but I am a product of my environment to some degree as well. And so I started working for my father, and this was advertising in the 80s, you guys. Let me tell you, everything you see on TV is light compared to what that thing's like, baby. Woo! Anyways, so, going out to lunch and having a 2 or 3 drink lunch at some of the best restaurants in LA was, usually this once a week because these television stations were trying to get me to spend money with them. And it's pretty cool, And then the network parties, and you know, but the cool thing is I wasn't into LA. I'd always go away on a weekend to go surfing or sailing or something, you know. So I think that helped me out a little bit when people started getting into the heavy drugs. Because I used to, you know, I'm still a pot smoker, always have been. But, you know, for hard drugs and things like that, oh my God. Can you imagine doing blow, John? It'd kill us.
Well, you know what's funny is I remember, I mean, when Woody was still alive,
Bless him, man.
yeah, Woody and I did a lot of drugs together. And you know, he was my running buddy, and I can identify with what you said as far as like driver. He was my driver, man. He drove.
So wait a second, with you two good-looking guys, who was the wingman?
That's funny. but he, you know, you were never part of our, you know, you were certainly always invited. There was always an invitation for you, but you were more. I think you're more. You didn't partake in that, you know.
Well, I was in a relationship with Debbie too for the first 5 years of the '80s, or you know, the middle of the '80s. So, you know, because we both were professional, you know, I'd go get drunk with Oakman after work, and you know, the boys. But on weekends, most of the time, her and I would split to go on surf trips and stuff.
Mm.
So, you know, I never missed a day of work because of my drinking and drugging.
Lucky.
Always been hired back by the companies I worked for.
Mm.
So yeah, you know, I was a highly functional alcoholic, as you often reminded me. Thank you. Anyways,
Captain Dave.
that's me. Just make sure you bring as many people back or more as you left with, and you're doing okay.
You know, my mom would never let me go on the boat with you when I was a kid because you told her the one story that you were tied to the boat on the way to Catalina and you flew overboard. she said, "You're never going with David and his dad." But go ahead with your story, man.
I don't remember that. I went overboard in the Sea of Cortez back in like 2007. That was really scary, but.
All right.
Excuse me.
You were talking about how you didn't party with Woody and I, and you were just a genuine drinker.
Oh yeah. So then I'm drinking a lot, and like every day, you know, I'm stopping home and getting booze, and I'd drink happy hour, and you know, it was like being raised in LA, and the people I ran with, you know, I was very vain, so it's very self-conscious of my weight, and so I would like, okay, Snickers bar, well, that's 2 drinks later, and things like that, you know, and so then so I got engaged to Debbie, and then she broke up with me because she thought I was going to kill myself.
Mm.
And, you know, it was on a Friday the 13th. That's the only bad Friday the 13th I've ever had. The good news is we're still best friends. Kelly and I have been together over 25 years, went to a wedding years ago. So, and then I think I really started partying kind of heavy. It really hurt me, but I didn't think it did, but it did. And then I started selling radio in Ventura, and that's where I met my future sponsor, Peter D. And this guy used to come dragging me into the office, man. I thought he was just chasing the white hound, you know what I mean? But I never knew or nothing, you know. And anyways, but we became really good friends. And then Pete got sober, and then he went out for quite some time, and then he got sober again around, I think, 1999 or something like that. He's been sober quite a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
Even though when he's sobriety, we've always maintained our friendship. And so I'm, you know, once again, I'm in advertising, and radio is kind of a glamorous deal, especially when you're in a town like Kentucky, California.
Kentucky.
But life was good, you know. I surfed, I chased skirt, and drank, and didn't get pulled over, and we had a good time, you know, and didn't think I was hurting anybody.
You were living on the boat. You were living on the boat then, right?
No, I had a couple different roommates in Ventura. Didn't buy the first boat till I moved back to LA to go back and work for my family's advertising agency. And so I wouldn't say my drinking really got worse in Ventura. Didn't get any better. But, you know, once again, I was a function. I get to work early because I knew that I wasn't performing at the level I should be, so I get to work early to put in more hours or try to make up for it. And then I went back to work with my father because of circumstances that were offered, you know. And so that business closed down under circumstances that, you know, just financial decisions were made. And I went back to sell radio again.
Hmm.
And, you know, it's a lot of these people that I sold radio are either dead from alcohol, still drunk. And this one gal that used to be my sales manager, she was in recovery with me. Then she went to prison, and she went to prison for 5 years for hitting someone with a car. And you know, it's just sad. You know what I mean? O'Brien drank himself to death when he was 32. He was another guy, dude. I met him before you, but he wasn't my friend because I didn't realize later. But he bought up my house on that street that ran right into the school, you know, Cartwright.
Mm-hmm.
And he bought our house when I was like 3 or 4. And then I met him years later. He goes, "Yeah, I remember you. We bought your house." And I, "Oh, wow, really?" You know, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, all my good friends, it seems like, in childhood became alcoholics. And, you know, yes.
Me too.
Oh, so, you know, my family loved me. I wasn't a violent drunk. Maybe a little loud sometimes, but they loved me, and I was funny.
Okay, so now I know you. Okay, so knowing you when we were in school, knowing you when we were like adults, and then when you were drinking, I will depict you, if you don't mind. You were like a great drunk. You were like the guy who would not be, you were like one of those guys you'd want to have around because you were fun. I'll never forget when Mark Gordon and I had the party at the Leonis Adobe out in the first annual Inland Beach party when it just became like a riot.
The last Inland Beach party.
It was amazing. The owner was like freaking out and running around like, you know, we're having a riot. And I ran over where the kegs were, and you were on top of the kegs with a captain's hat pouring everybody drinks. It was great. I was like, "You go, Dave. You go," right?
You know the funniest thing about that night, about an hour into it, my stepbrother Michael, who was serving beers, you know, kept asking me for quarters. And I'm going, "What? They're like $1 or $2. It was like there was no change."
Right, yeah.
And it was like I go, "Mike, what do you need change for?" He goes, "Well, people, you know, it's $1.50 and people keep giving me $2. No, they're $2, dude, they're $2. And then somebody stole a keg over that fence.
Do you know I got out of there? The owner wanted to the owner ran up to Mark and I and said, "We have a riot going on. I need to talk to you right now." I go, "Mark, we got to get out of here." And Mark goes, "I can't find my keys." "Wait, I locked my keys in my car." So I grabbed a hammer, I busted his side window. I go, "Let's get out of here right now." That's how we got out of there. How'd you leave that party? But go on with your story, because I'm more interested to find out. I want to continue on.
Did you make money that night?
No, we did nothing. We had fun though. It was a great memory.
Dude, that party, I mean, my family still talks about that party, all my stepbrothers and everything.
It was kind of out of control, but you know, whatever. It was one of those great memories.
That was just a fun evening.
Yes. It was not a financial success, but a fantastic party.
Oh, dude, I drank myself into a bankruptcy one time. Yeah. I was like 35, and I'm staying with my dad because I just moved back from Ventura and I was working for him in LA, and I was staying on a boat when I wasn't in LA, so I just stayed with him. And he's like, we're talking about something, and you know, I always had money. I never asked him for money. Yeah, it doesn't happen. But we're talking about something about how much I'd saved up or something. So what do you do with all your money? Oh, shit, Dad, I got a lot of credit card debt. And so I figure out how much I had. He asked, "Well, how much you have?" It's a good question. I really don't know. So I figured it out. It was like $35,000, $38,000. I'm pretty embarrassed, you know, and ashamed at this point. So my dad goes, "Look, I'll lend you the money." And I told him no. And I'm so stoked I told him no for 2 reasons. One, he's always used money to control us throughout our lives. You know, yeah, I'm taking a vacation. What do you mean you're taking a vacation? You owe me your money. You know, I don't need to be answerable to someone.
Oh.
And 2, my mother happened to pass away shortly during this period. And, I'd got some inheritance, and it would have killed her to know that I was having to give her money to my father.
Mm.
That it would have killed me to know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways. So, I worked and then, sailed and surfed and had fun and did a lot of drinking during all this. That was one of the kind of the things that's interesting is my drinking career. I did a lot of time in bars, but I did a lot of stuff. Everything I did, I was drinking, but and as an active guy, boating, you can get away with a lot of stuff, especially when you're out in the middle of the Pacific, And God, when you're going to Santa Cruz Island from Ventura, you got at least 3.5 to plus maybe 7 hours to get the boat there, and that's plenty of time to drink within reason. But, whew, I was after drunks and sailors.
So talk to me what happened to you when I got the call from. I'll never forget the call I got from you that when you told me you need to stop drinking.
Oh, yeah. It was on Cinco de Mayo, 2011, and I was talking to my brother, who's used to be my business partner, but anyways, it's a long story. But no, we weren't partners then. Anyways, so he goes, "Hey, what are you gonna do about your drinking?" I go, "What do you mean?" Those people are concerned. They're talking. I go, "Really?" He's going, "Yeah." Then he starts going into wet brain and how it's not too late. And I'm going, "Well," he goes, "So what are you gonna do?" Granted, this is on a Thursday, Cinco de Mayo, and I'm sitting there at my nav station on my boat, working, because that's where I live, that's where I work now. And I'm taking a couple of hits off the open bottle of wine from the night before. Probably a couple of bong hits, absolutely. You know what I mean? It's such a beautiful day outside. I live in a marina. And so I go, "I'm going to stop on Monday." And he goes, "What? You don't have to. I'm just, staying." So anyway, so I hung up with him. And I called my buddy Pete. I go, "Pete." He goes, "Hey, Dave." I go, "I want you to be my sponsor." He goes, "What?" I go, "I'm stopping drinking on Monday and I want you to be my sponsor." He goes, "What's going on?" I go, "I just figured out I'm an alcoholic." And he's going, so we go back and forth. He goes, "Well, you're going to stop on Monday?" I go, "Yeah, I'm going to party this weekend. I got to let my guys know. I'm going to stop on Monday." And he's going, like any true strong AA, he's trying to give me a shot to stop right then and there. You know what I mean? Why don't you just right now, right here, right there? Well, I don't know what he was saying, but I was having no fear of it because I really don't remember what he said. But so then I proceeded to call my best drinking buddies and tell them that they want to drink with me. It's their last chance. Monday, I'm a drunk and I'm stopping drinking. One of those 4 or 5 people that I called is dead now.
Hmm.
Died last year at the age of 55. Built like a buck. Sad deal. Anyways, I did call one of my sober friends. His name's Danny O. And I told Danny O that I was going to stop drinking on Monday. And he lives about 65, 70 miles away from me. He goes, "Well, David, that's great." And, I've known him since the 70s. So we've got a lot of drinking history and a lot of bro history hanging out. And he goes, "Can I come up and take you to your first meeting?" And I said, "Yeah." And so I went on and partied that week. And I don't think I partied too heavy. And I didn't buy that $300 bottle of wine I wanted to buy on my last day of drinking. I got carried away drinking rum and coke, so that didn't happen. But anyways, so that Monday, man, and I got a new word for a religious combo. I'm a cashew, a Catholic Jew, a cashew.
You're a cashew.
Isn't that great?
I like that. I like
My buddy's
that.
12-year-old son taught me that. He came up with it.
That's good. I like that. We should put shirts together. I like that.
Like some people have dual problems, and I got dual religions, anyways. And so, I opted out of the church for boating at an early age, and it never made sense to me, anyways, because Opie Taylor went to Sunday school. Why am I going to Saturdays? And I couldn't go to the boat with my dad. So I got my first communion, and somebody gave me a Star of David and a St. Christopher on each side, and they said, "Do you want to keep going?" I go, "No, I want to go boat." And stuff confuses me. I'm out. And so, I left the warm heart of the heavy hand of the Roman Catholic Church in search of my own God, which was the ocean. And I have a good, great relationship with the ocean, still do, but it was clouded really heavily with booze along the way. And this is something I can look back on. I never knew what was going on. I just knew that I was thirsty. And so, anyways, so then after I make the phone calls, my buddy Brent, the one that passed away, left him a message. He didn't pick up, and he's the buddy that passed away, unfortunately, recently. So then I walk up to my marina office and tell him I'm an alcoholic and I'm stopping drinking on Monday. If they ever see me drinking, just to call the cops on me. Then I walk down the dock and start doing the same thing to my neighbors. I mean, call me. Of course I was nuts. I was, an alcoholic in the depths of my disease, but it seemed like the thing to do. And so anyways, so that Monday came around. Danny took me to a meeting in an area of this town called Oxnard that I really wouldn't frequent. And it's in an Alano Club, which I really don't get the whole deal on those, but there's a lot of people that are ordered from the courts there. And so Danny goes, "Look, we're going to go in and sit down. You don't have to say anything. And then they're going to pass a basket around and put your dollar in it. And, if you want to talk, you can talk." Okay. So there's, 20 of us in there. There's this really old guy, I forget his name, but he was like a circuit speaker. Here's the kicker. I started smoking cigarettes the day I stopped drinking. How screwed up was that? Then I stopped, then I started, then I stopped, then I started again. So, but anyway, so we're at this meeting and people start throwing these notes in there, and I'm like, "What's that?" So anyway, so I forget if I spoke or not, but I like to say these people aren't like me. Well, I definitely wasn't like these people from their life experiences. On the inside, I'm sure we're all the same. Battle with those demons racing between our ears. Me, not me, no me. Why don't you thank me for doing something right? But you're supposed to because it was right. Yeah, but I'm an alcoholic and I do things right. I'm supposed to be patted on the back for it, damn it. Anyways, so went to my first meeting. The second day I stayed in bed because I was staying on the boat. I was freaking out, but I didn't drink. And the third day I went to a meeting that a buddy, my sponsor said, a buddy of mine, and I went to this meeting with him, which became my home group. And it was called the Keep It Simple group in Ventura, California at the beach. And it's a very, it's a California beach community. You got all different ranges of economics along with homeless and street people. And I got sober there before I moved to Hawaii. And, I knew about the program, but I really didn't know that much. So I walk in and I'm talking to people and the new guy just stopped. And one guy goes, "Well, when?" I go, "Like 2 days ago." And he's like, "Oh, you can get seizures and stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, I think I'm having a seizure, but it's scaring me, And so one guy says, "Hey, stop drinking." "Yeah, you smoke pot or anything?" I go, "Yeah, of course I smoke pot, absolutely, And it's Alcoholics Anonymous. I went to stop drinking, That's all I know. You go there if you're an alcoholic. And so then, through this process, people started asking if I was smoking marijuana. And I said, "Yeah," because you're not supposed to lie to them. It's truth be true, And so then, this one guy, he was an ex-teacher, and I really don't like the teachers that much. Anyways, there was this guy named Peter. And it's Dave, Captain. I'm known as Captain Dave because I am Captain. Anyways,
You are Captain Dave.
Captain Dave's the pot smoker. So, anyways, one day I'm supposed to lead the meeting, and he comes in and rips the book out of my hand. Says, "He can't lead a meeting. I'm going to lead it." I felt like punching the shit out of it. It's the only meeting I've ever walked out of. And anyways, So more time goes by, and they passed the Captain Dave rule. They used to say, and if you've had anything to drink within the last 24 hours, please don't share, just listen. Well, the Captain Dave clause was if you had anything to drink or had any substance in the last 24 hours, please don't share. So I didn't share. I'll back up to my first 30 days. It's like day 25, and I'm talking to my sponsor. Go, Pete, man, I'm getting a chip next week. He's like going, you're going to take a chip? Well, yeah, I've been had a drink. It'll be a month. He's going, you're going to take a chip? Like, oh, yeah, I've been had a drink. He's going, you're going to take a dirty chip? So what do you mean a dirty chip? He's like, you smoke pot. I go, so I don't drink. So, you can do what you do, but I'm just telling you, I think it's a dirty chip. And I've always felt that if you don't follow a sponsor's direction, you shouldn't, why have a sponsor? So I never took a chip for 4 years. Finally, my 4th birthday was coming up, and I was in Hawaii, and I was talking to my sponsor. I'll back up in a second. He goes, are you taking a chip this year? I go, no. He goes, I want you to take a chip. I go, okay. Never asked him why. Didn't feel I had to. And I took a chip. Now, I was never able to share my story in my home group because they wouldn't allow me to talk.
Imagine that.
There were certain people that would leave that phrase out specifically for me to open the floor for me sometimes. It was pretty cool, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And you know what? I swear to God, I felt like they tried driving me out. And so the guy, now I'm working the steps from the very beginning. My sponsor, I went through there's a place out in Westlake, Thousand Oaks called Rhythms.
I don't know.
Or something like that. Anyways, it's a real hardcore program they run. Super hardcore. And I was going through this course, and I don't know how it was for you, but for me, the steps were really, really difficult on me, taking a look at myself and stuff and being brutally honest.
Mm-hmm.
Being honest with my sponsor about everything I do. And so when I'm doing my 5th step, my 9th step, I had to make amends to that dickhead who took the book away from me, right? The meeting. And I go, hey, Peter, I'd like to set up an appointment and talk to you. He goes, dude, he's so arrogant. He goes, oh, you want me to be your sponsor? Felt like grabbing him by the neck. And I go, no, I need to make amends. So can we meet sometime? And I'm just going, what a pompous, narcissistic teacher. And so I made amends with him. That was really difficult. And it's kind of funny when I started doing my amends. Well, first of all, you got to admit you're an alcoholic, right? That's the first one, right? So the second one is you got to believe that there's a power greater in yourself. Isn't that the way it goes?
Mm-hmm.
And the third one is believing in a power greater than yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth one is taking a moral inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And the fifth one is asking God to remove all your character defects.
Mm-hmm.
What's the seventh one?
Seventh tradition. When they
Seventh
pass.
step. Seventh step. Anyways, the eighth is your list. Your ninth is your resentments.
So hold on a second. So back up for 1 second. So where were you when you called me when I was in Palm Beach? When my understanding was when you called me, you said you'd seen the doctor and you said stuff was starting to shut down and you really need to stop drinking.
I never was at that point.
That's what you told me, man. You told
Wow.
me you were ready. You told me you were ready. You were told me you were ready to stop, and you had to stop. And I was like, David, I think you need to stop.
I got to tell you, to the best of my recollection, the doctor never told me to stop drinking. But you know what happened, though? The year I did stop drinking, and I was with my doctor in February, and I stopped in May. And see, I used to be smart, man. I used to study for my doctor's appointments because I knew I'd have blood tests, right? So I'd stop tapering off drinking as best as I could that week. So I could try to keep my blood levels somewhat in line. They always might, quite frankly, the doctor looked at my blood work, and I mean, I've studied this stuff. I mean, it was so classic alcoholic, it was absolutely unbelievable, but I guess they can't say anything. Anyway, so we're there and about something else, and she's like going, it's like 9 o'clock on a Friday. She goes, Sir Lewis, have you drank today? Have you been drinking? I go, no, I'm insulted. Are you sure you haven't been drinking? And I go, yeah, I'm sure I haven't been drinking. Believe me. As soon as I tell myself, as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to go drink. Now, we can back up before that, and I remember I had some issues. Maybe it was around this time or something. Oh, no. Oh, they thought I had cancer.
David?
Yeah, my blood work was so whacked out, they thought I had cancer.
David, you're testing my memory here because I swear, the phone call I got from you, I gave you two things. I said to you, I didn't think you could stop, but I wanted you to stop because you've been drinking for over 50 years. So it was like, I didn't know how you were going to stop. I mean, I wanted you to stop in my heart of hearts, but it was like, okay. And I remember you telling the stories about, in the meetings and the pot smoking and the whole thing, when you spoke to Harry and when that happened with the guy, but I have a theory on that, and when you're done talking, I'll definitely I'll tell you what I'm thinking about.
Okay, so I think that it was funny let me back up to the fourth step. When I was writing it, I was a type of alcoholic that didn't really create, like you were saying, most people like me. The damage I created was like getting people to drive for me instead of me getting drunk, or the women that I had taken advantage of, you know what I mean, with my illicit thoughts and actions.
Right.
So, and I remember making amends to my cousin Chris. I was his best man, Leslie's brother, and because I thought I was a bad influence on him. and his wife gets mad that I'm not making amends to her.
Oh.
I find this out to one of my other cousins, so I call up Arlene and go, Arlene, I'd like to make amends with you. She goes, great, when can we get together?
That's funny, David.
Anyways, but then I got my brother, who I tried to make amends with 3 times, and he failed on twice, and the 3rd time he said, just forget it. I don't need to do it. But he knows enough about the program. He knew it was for me. So, whatever. I wish him the best. Mm-hmm. But we haven't spoken in over 6 years, 7 years. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so I worked the steps to the best of my ability. And I got to say, first of all, I had to keep going back to my sponsor. Swear to God. I mean, it's like I do my list and this and that, didn't do it right. Dude, I thought he just let me pass because he got tired of saying he didn't do it right, but I guess that's part of the process sometimes. And so then I get to, this is pretty funny. So then I'm like, do step 9, and then you're reading. So then that's like page 168, 169, yeah. And so then my sponsor never gave me any more direction. And so, which was fine. But I didn't read the rest of the big book. And so I finished the steps. I started in 2011. I finished it sometime in 2012. So sometime in 2013 or 14, I picked up the big book and started and finished the rest of the book. I called my sponsor up. You go, Pete, yeah, because you didn't read the rest of the book. You were supposed. I go, dude, remember that time when I started reading and you didn't tell me to and you got mad at me? He's going, yeah. I thought, why should I start if I'm not ready? I figured you tell me when. Mm-hmm. But it's been a couple of years, so which takes me back to when I first started to stop drinking. I was talking to my sponsor about 6 months into it when we started talking about near beer. And I go, yeah, I drink near beer, Pete. So you drink near beer? I go, yeah, my Uncle Jerry drank it. He stopped drinking. He drank near beer, man. He's a great guy. He's like, dude, near beer is for non-alcoholics. I'm going, dude, whatever. And so I kept drinking it. And I liked it. And so then I'm over in Hawaii, like, I don't know, it's like 2015 maybe, 14. That wasn't that early. It was pretty early on. And I hadn't had one in a few days. And he goes, "So when was the last time you had one?" And I go, "I don't know, a couple of days ago." And it's like around September, or October. He's going, "Why don't you just go to the end of the month?" I go, "Okay, that should be no problem."
What, for the near bear?
Yeah. And so he's going, "Hey, why don't you go to Thanksgiving?" So okay. So at that point, I just stopped.
So hold on. So back up for a second. So when you stopped drinking, when you told all those people, your landlord, the boat person, your neighbors, you had stopped and you had not ever picked up from that point on up to now, up to this moment you're talking about the near beer, correct?
I don't consider near beer picking up.
Well, no, I'm saying alcohol. When you stopped drinking alcohol.
I've never had a sip since I walked into Alcoholics Anonymous on Monday, May 9th, 2011.
That's what I want to hear. Okay, because I was unclear on that because when you stopped, you stayed stopped. You put the cork in, you put the cork in the jug.
Dude, nights, weekends, and holidays, bro.
Good.
Got it.
Well, talk to me about you've worked the steps. And what I know of you is you're super high function. You get up in the morning. I see some great fishing photos. You have a beautiful girlfriend. You've been with her for a long time. People like you. You have a lot of friends. You're of service. You help a lot of people. You're always there for them. But the one thing that's interesting to me is that in my sobriety that I've had to understand is the pot element, the marijuana, the THC part of your recovery. And I started thinking about that because early on in a Radford meeting, there was a sponsor, an old crusty guy, talking about his sponsee and how his sponsee had to take his meds, and he didn't think that his sponsee was really sober because he was taking meds, right? So first of all, right. So to me, that's what I said. I said, "You're not a doctor, you're a drunk like me." So I walked out of the meeting, and that was one of the few meetings I walked out of. But, what came to me to realize was everybody has, I think after 50 years of drinking, you could either go to the doctor's office and get your lithium or your other prescribed medication. I don't think I think for you, like, everybody's different, right? So I don't think that all this fits into one little box. I think everybody's mind, from depression, anxiety, all this different things, this is my opinion, is I think the THC and the marijuana for you is sort of just does this. You can take medication a doctor prescribes to you, but you choose to do it this way. To me, my hat's off to you, my friend, because again, we have mutual friends that I've spoken to about this in very detail. And what I say to them, each person's different. Your path is different than everybody else's. So, and what I'm talking about, because when he does it, it has a different effect on him. But when
my own self be true.
Right. So when you do it, it works for you in your recovery, in your life right now. And to me, I admire that and I applaud that. And I'm proud of you, man, as a friend that's known you forever. To me, again,
let me give a caveat to anyone here that's thinking about ruining their drinking career and joining Alcoholics Anonymous or another support group thereof. That for me, I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I was out. John knows me well enough to know that it's like I can be kind of tough, and I go, they ain't kicking me out. Ain't gonna happen. I ain't gonna lose that one. And so, yeah, I was uncomfortable, but fuck them. Excuse my language, everybody got. But why are they so? If they're following the principles as we're taught, why are they even worrying about what I'm doing?
Right.
First, they should be acceptance, and second, they should be looking at their own side of the street, not worrying about my side of the street. That's the way I was taught. And
well, let's put it this way. I think, as your friend and watching you, you're drinking a lot of alcohol, and anytime you drink that kind of alcohol, you're pretty much pickling yourself. So your prospect for living was going down, down, down. Now I look at it, you saved your life, And to me, it's a great inspiration because, again, and I say this very, your story is your story. So it's not something that everybody should do, but it worked for you. And that's the beauty of the whole thing. That's why each person, you know, I came to 25 years of sobriety. I read an article about Dr. Bill Wilson. And Bill Wilson was clinically he had debilitating depression. Okay. And most people in AA don't understand this. And most people don't even know this, but Bill Wilson did LSD.
Oh, I knew that.
To change his whole, it cured his depression. And, you know, the microdosing, the marijuana, the THC, the CBD, all the different things that are now working for people that are all natural additives to a different experience in a micro way is changing the way we look at things. You know, I mean, am I going to go out and microdose tomorrow? I don't need to. To me, it's like, I am good the way I am, but I like the fact that there's hope. And that's why I want to interview you, David, because there may be somebody out there that goes, you know, I'm just like kind of agitated, but what people realize is like, if you do just a little bit or whatever it is you do, it doesn't have to be like 1 to 50,000. It could be like one of one, right? So, dude, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm really proud of you that you're doing it today, and you've been doing it. Now, how long have you been sober? How many years?
Wait a second. Let's say May to June, July to August. I've got 8 years, 3 months, 11 days.
And how old are you, David?
I'm 62. I was born on Friday, the 13th, 1959.
Outstanding, my brother. Wow.
Hey, Johnny.
Wow.
One thing I can say about you through my drinking career is, you know, you stopped in the heyday of everything. I thought that was truly amazing. You were like one of the first guys that did and stuck to it, and still stayed in the middle of everything. I mean, a lot of people think that you're not, you know, sobriety is tough though, because, you know, it's like at first I thought I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. Then those things became not important to me. But
I think when you're done, you're done. I think I had I think I had my spiritual awakening. I think something happened to me. The big shooter listened to me. I believe in God. God saved my life. You know, I mean,
dude, God definitely saved my life.
I reached out to him, and he, you know, and wholeheartedly this time he listened, and something happened. I mean, you're right. I was in the thick of it. I still am in the thick of it. I do things that a lot of people will get very uncomfortable, you know, but I'll go to where I'm uncomfortable. I won't put myself in an uncomfortable place, but I'll be places where most people are going to be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So I think it's a mindset. I'm okay with who I am. I don't. I think the thing that bothers me mostly, more than anything, is when somebody hears that I am sober, they start to tell me about how they were going to stop drinking. That, you know, they were thinking, and I'm like, wait, no, man.
Oh, no. I only drink beer now. I put the hard stuff down.
So tonight, your job is to have a really good time, and don't tell me all about that, because that's about me, not about you, right? So have fun. That makes it uncomfortable because, like, I don't want to tell them I'm sober, but when they insist, I tell them, and then they got to tell me about how they really want to stop drinking. I go, no, man, you're having a good time tonight. If you really want to stop drinking, call me tomorrow, right? Funny, huh?
Yeah, no, I was just flashing back on a phone call like that. Mine, the guy was so sloshed. There's Rich Brewer calling. Okay, Harry, I'll call you tomorrow. I didn't, you know, I should have called him, but, you know, if he really wanted help, he'd call me.
It's a funny
That's what it
thing.
is. That's the thing, Johnny. It's like, you know, not being a religious guy, not having a spiritual connection, and trying to grow it and work on myself every day. You know, for me to look back and just say, with that conversation with my brother, you know, what are you going to do about your drinking? People are concerned. For me to say I'm going to stop, and me to actually do it. I don't care what you call it. It's God working. That's all it can be.
Yeah.
That's all it can be. That's all it can be. And,
it's crazy, isn't it?
You know, the road gets broader and narrower.
But you know, we've seen a few good ones go along the way.
Yeah, it happens. life changes. People go, things are phases and stuff like that. But you know, for me, it's AA is a way of life. I love my AA friends, man.
It's your
I feel I
community.
feel
It's
like we're such a
community.
great group over here. We see you see one of them around or in the store, you just feel safer and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, I miss that community. Florida has good AA. It's a little different though. I miss California. California was probably where I've been here 10 years. So in Costa Rica, then Canada, but California for the most part of my whole life was probably the most community-based AA group. Moore Park, Radford, Studio 12, Kelton, the men's stag meetings. I mean,
Never went to any of them.
those were like well, you weren't around, David. I would have taken you with me.
Sure, you would have.
I don't even know. I mean, my first sponsor said to me, what was it funny? He said, I don't think you're going to stay sober, but I'll be your sponsor. It was like the greatest thing you could have said, because it was like I was going to show him, right? It's
Yeah,
like, fuck
exactly.
him.
Same thing I did at my first home group.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, listen,
Okay,
I know you're.
I got to cook some ono that I caught on Sunday.
So David's in the Big Island of Hawaii, and what do you do? You fish, right, and have fun out there.
I am a used machinery dealer. Everybody can look up lewismachinerysales.com if you're looking to buy or sell any industrial machine tools. You can cut that out if you want. But as a hobby, I like to go catch fish and enjoy giving it away even more.
I see it up on Facebook all the time.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. David Lewis, I love you, buddy.
Johnny, I love you. Hey, say hi to your mom for me.
I will definitely, buddy.
I forgot to say that earlier. Okay. Hey, John, thanks for having me. It's awesome,
All right,
bro.
I'll see you, buddy. Hey,
Aloha.
aloha.